Hola, ¿qué tal todos? Well, we have finally gotten to the end of the commands. Lesson 113, sentence starters, commands for Car-Gar-Zar verbs. All right, we have the same two key points. There are two familiar commands, the positive and negative, and the two formal commands, Usted, Ustedes. If you want to make them negative, you just put a no in front of the Usted or Ustedes command. Okay, point number 3, infinitives that end in Car-Gar-Zar are simply called Car-Gar-Zar verbs. Okay, and we have them on the left. Let's take a look at them. Abrazar, to hug. Acercarse, to get closer. Amenazar, to threaten. Atacar, to attack. Brincar, to jump. Buscar, to look for. Castigar, to punish. Cruzar, to cross. Entregar, to turn in or to deliver. Jugar, to play. Pagar, to pay. Pegar, to hit. Pellizcar, to pinch. Practicar, to practice. Rezar, to pray. Roncar, to snore. Sacar, to take out. Salpicar, to splash. Tocar, to touch. And equivocarse, to make a mistake. It's nice to mention that of all these verbs, the only stem-changing verb is jugar, which is in the middle. Jugar, to play. That U is going to change to UE, jugar. But we'll get to that when we get to jugar. Okay, so let's look at the verbs. AR verbs, do we have anything that's not an AR verb? Nope. Every verb is an AR verb. So what does that tell us? It tells us that the positive to command, the first column of commands, is going to end in regular vowel, which is the letter A. So our positive to commands for all of these will end in an A. All right? Now, the Car-Gar-Zar, as these verbs are called, that concern will not appear until we get to the other three commands. So when we do the four commands with a Car-Gar-Zar verb, and what is a Car-Gar-Zar verb? A Car-Gar-Zar verb is a verb that when you spell it out in the infinitive, verb number 0 form, it ends in car, C-A-R, gar, G-A-R, or Z-A-R. So the Car-Gar-Zar concern that we're going to deal with only shows up in the last three commands, the negative to familiar command and the Usted and Ustedes commands. Okay, now let's take care of first things first. Let's do the positive familiar command of Car-Gar-Zar verbs. They're just like regular verbs. Nothing changes except the verb jugar has a U to UE change. So the command hug would be abraza. Get closer would be acércate. Threaten, amenaza. Attack, ataca. Jump, brinca. Look for, busca. To punish, castiga. Cross, cruza. Turn in, entrega. Now jugar, the U goes to UE, it would be juega. J-U-E-G-A, juega. Pay, paga. Hit, pega. Pinch, pellizca. Practice, practica. Pray, reza. Snore, ronca. Pull out or take out, saca. Splash, salpica. Touch, toca. And make a mistake, it's reflexive, so it's going to end in te. And we're going to go back 3 with an accent mark. Equivocate, equivocate. Those are all easy, regular vowel. They're regular verbs, except we have jugar, which is a UE stem-changing verb. Now, the negative familiar command, the Usted command, and the Ustedes command are all going to have the same change take place 3 different times. Okay, with Car-Gar-Zar verbs, we already said earlier, the letter Z is going to change to a C in front of an I or an E. Well, since all these are AR verbs, we know that the negative familiar and the Usted, Ustedes commands are opposite vowel. What's the opposite vowel for AR verbs? E. So you can't have a ZE, you're going to have to go CE. So that CE for ZAR verbs is going to show up in the final 3 commands. So like an abrazar or amenazar, any of the ZAR verbs, they're going to have a C towards the end instead of a Z. The Z will be replaced with a C. Okay? Now, what do we know about the Gar verbs? The Gar verbs, okay? Well, when you say castiga, or juega, it's GA. We know that G has the hard sound when it's in front of an A, O, or U. Ga, go, goo. But since the opposite vowel that we're using in the last three commands is going to be an E, what happens if we put an E after a G? Now the G is not the hard G sound, it's a soft G sound, which is hey. So now with Gar verbs, verbs that end in gar, when you do your commands, except for the familiar two, you have to insert a U to get the gay, the G-U-E. The same thing with verbs that end in car, C-A-R. Okay? Well, car. Okay? So when you want to say ataque, it's going to be a Q-U-E, right? Because C followed by an E is say, as we know. So Car-Gar-Zar verbs. Car verbs are going to have a Q-U-E, K. Gar verbs are going to have a G-U-E, gay. And Zar verbs are going to have a C-E, say. All right, let's check them out. Let's go with abrazar. Let's go negative familiar command. We know they're going to end in opposite vowel, S, so it's E-S. No abraces, the Z is going to change to C. No abraces. Now, no te acerques, we need the Q-U-E because you can't go C-E because the C-E is say. No te acerques. Don't threaten. The Z goes to C. No amenaces. No amenaces. Don't attack. No ataques. Q-U-E-S. No ataques. Don't jump. No brinques. No brinques. Don't look. No busques. Q-U-E-S. No busques. Don't punish. This is going to be the G-U-E. No castigues. No castigues. Don't cross. It's a Zar verb, so it's no cruces with a C. No cruces. Gar verb is going to be G-U-E. Don't turn in. No entregues. No entregues. And don't play. We have our U-E stem change with the gay. No juegues. No juegues. So Car-Gar-Zar. The car is going to have a Q-U-E. The gar is going to have a G-U-E. And the Zar is going to have a C-E. Let's look at the Usted and Ustedes commands. Okay, both of these are opposite vowels, so they're all going to have an E. The Ustedes command is going to end in opposite vowel E-N. Okay, abrazar is going to have the C. Abrace, abracen. Acercarse is going to have the Q-U-E. Acérquese, acérquense. Amenazar is going to have the C. Amenace, amenacen. Atacar is going to have the Q-U-E. Ataque, ataquen. Brincar, the Q-U-E. Brinque, brinquen. Buscar, the Q-U-E. Busque, busquen. Castigar, the G-U-E. Castigue, castiguen. Cross, going to have the C. Cruce, crucen. Entregar is going to have the G-U-E. Entregue, entreguen. Jugar is going to have the G-U-E. Juegue, jueguen. Pagar, the G-U-E. Pague, paguen. Pegar, to hit, the G-U-E. Pegue, peguen. Pellizcar is going to have the Q-U-E. Pellizque, pellizquen. Practicar, Q-U-E. Practique, practiquen. Rezar is going to have the C-E. Rece, recen. To snore, roncar, it's going to have the Q-U-E. Ronque, ronquen. Sacar, the Q-U-E. Saque, saquen. Salpicar, the Q-U-E. Salpique, salpiquen. Tocar, the Q-U-E. Toque, toquen. And finally, to make a mistake, equivocarse is going to have the Q-U-E. Equivoquese and equivoquense. All right, that's a lot to digest, but Car-Gar-Zar verbs. The car, C-A-R, is going to have a Q-U-E. The gar is going to have a G-U-E. And the zar is going to have a C-E in the negative familiar, the usted, and the ustedes commands. Let's look at our examples and see if we get it. Okay, familiar. Okay, don't pay him or her anything. Well, it's negative, so we know it's going to be opposite vowel, S. And him or her, the pronoun is going to be lay. Because what we're paying is money. To whom would be lay, to him or to her. Even though it doesn't say to, it's understood. So we got a negative, it's no. We got the pronoun lay, no lay. We got pagar, it's a Car-Gar-Zar, so it's going to have the G-U-E-S. No le pagues nada. There it is. Play close to the house to a group of kids. Well, we know it's going to end in opposite vowel N, so that's going to be E-N. We also know jugar has a U to UE stem change, so it should be, and it's jugar, so it's going to have the GUE. Jueguen, Juguen, jueguen cerca de la casa. To a class, hand in the papers. It's entregar, it's going to have the GUE, opposite vowel EN, entreguen los papeles. Good. To a group, okay, group is going to be opposite vowel N, so that's EN. Don't get the wrong number. It's reflexive, equivocarse. We start with no, we put our pronoun, se, and then we're going to have a K in it. No se equivoquen, Quen. Got it. Pay me tomorrow to a friend. Okay, it's positive to a friend. That's regular vowel. It's an AR verb. It's going to end in A, but it's got a command pronoun, which is may. So we're going to put may on the end. We're going to go back and 3 vowels and put an accent mark, but it's a regular verb. Let's see what we got. It should be págame mañana. Yep. Go back 3 vowels, accent on the A. Págame. Game of Thrones to a group. Attack. Okay. So we know it's opposite vowel, N. So it's EN. It's going to end in EN. Atacar is a CAR verb. It's going to have the QUE. So it's going to be ataquen with 1 T. ATAQUEN. Ataquen. Now to a friend. Don't pinch me. To a friend, well, that's negative. So it's opposite vowel S. It's going to be ES. Me is the pronoun. It's negative. So it's going to go no me. Now pellizcar is a CAR verb, a car verb. It's going to have the QUE. So it should be no me pellizques, ending in ES. Yep. Don't touch it to a friend. Familiar. Okay, it's going to be no lo. Tocar is a QUE. No lo toques, ES. Familiar, hug me. It's positive. Abrazar, so it's going to be regular vowel. That means it's going to end in A, but we got the pronoun me on the end. So we're going to go back 3 vowels and put an accent mark. So it should be abrázame. That's right. The Z stays Z. The Z only changes to a C in front of an I or an E. And our last one, to a friend. Don't look for problems. Well, the negative command to a friend is going to end in ES, opposite vowel S. Don't look for problems. So it's going to start off with no. Buscar is a car verb, so it's going to have the QUE. No busques problemas. Wow, we did it. Okay, that's a lot of lessons on commands. I want you to practice them, and as you have time, go back, listen to the lesson, look at the PDF, and you'll get better and better at these, and you're going to hear them, and you're going to start using them, and that's how you're going to get really, really good at these. So thank you so much for hanging with me on all these commands. I know it's kind of heavy, but we need to do it because we want you to be able to say anything and to say it correctly and to hear anything and hear it correctly. I know you can do it. You're going to amaze yourselves, and I wish I could meet every single one of you and get to hear you speak some Spanish. All right, that'll do it for commands. That'll do it for lesson 113. Put a big, big, big check mark by 113. Okay, gracias por escuchar. Es todo por ahora. Hasta la próxima lección. This is your Profesor Pablo checking off, signing off. Cambio fuera.